Hey guys, I wanted to explain to you guys a bit of the culture of the Algonquin tribe, and that was what the tribe was in the Rough-Faced Girl. And I found this video on YouTube, and it just has a music background, so I cut the music off, and I want to kind of narrate you through the video so that you will see what some of the culture is of the tribe. Okay, and this is actually done by Hunter Martin. Okay, it says the Algonquin is a French term which means they are our allies. Okay, that means friends. They lived in the far north region, and it's going to show a map here. Okay, so our book said that they lived by the banks of Lake Ontario, and so they're right in this area right here in Canada. Okay, so they're very far north. It's cold, it's wild. They live out in the woods, in the wilderness. They ate corn, squash, and beans. There's squash and beans. They wore breech cloths and moccasins. Okay, and I can roll that back just a tiny little bit. So I want you to pay attention to the shoes. The moccasins are a very important part of the Algonquins' outfit. They're the leather shoes. And remember, in The Rough-Faced Girl, they had mentioned that she had wanted some new moccasins, but her father was only able to give her his old ratty-tatty ones. And so she, but she was happy with that because it was something new to her. And, think about Cinderella with the glass slipper. That was a very important part of the story as well. Okay, it says that they lived in wigwams, houses made from birch bark. And remember, that is what the Rough-Faced Girl lived in. We might also call them like a big teepee. In Cinderella, they lived in big, giant houses. They lived in castles. So there's a difference there. It says, although in some communities, multiple families would live together in the long house. Okay, so that's if, maybe aunts and uncles and all of their kids and the grandparents all lived in the same house together. And this is a picture of the inside of a longhouse. They used war clubs, spears, and bows. And there's some arrowheads. They were famous for their canoes made from birch bark. Remember, at the end of the story of the Rough-Faced Girl, she was going off with the invisible being in a canoe. And in Cinderella, instead of canoes, they use horse-drawn carriages. They were known for their headdresses. Okay, and remember, in Cinderella, they dressed up big and fancy, and they did have their hair done up big and fancy, with headdresses essentially. Remember, the stepsisters wanted Cinderella to do their hair, and the Algonquin also pride themselves with their headdresses. Although theirs are made differently, this is what they look like. also known as Porcupine Roach. So it says their creator god was known as the Gitchi Manitou, which means the Great Spirit. And remember in the Rough-Faced Girl, they had they were fighting for the marriage of the invisible being, and you can see him throughout the nature of the book until the end where he actually became a person. Let's see how this is different. People would journey to an island in Michigan to honor the Great Spirit. And then this has been a video by Hunter Martin, and it says Algonquins ROCK. So I wanted to point some of those similarities out to you, and some of the differences. And we're going to go over this culture chart together. So let me push pause on this. I'm going to separate the two videos.